I guess we should, at the very least, introduce ourselves to our dear listeners here. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark. I have worked in a game company for 2 years, and I have played games since I was 6, 7 years old. It's nearly 2 decades. It is 2 decades already. So I guess that's a long time. I've always had a soft spot for shooting games, and I guess this is something that my fellow here, Paul, he's my brother, and we wanted to spend more time, I guess, talking about games because the few times that we've had these kind of conversations before, we've really enjoyed it. We like to have more, and I'm certain that you, dear listener, would enjoy listening to us as well. So before I continue rambling on and hogging all the time, I think I should give some of it to Paul.
What's up, everyone? My name is Paul. I don't have any background in developing games, but I have been playing games for as long as I can remember. Since I was in kindergarten, actually, K2 to be precise. So it's like what? Since I was
Six.
five.
I think six. Yeah, that
Since I
makes
was
six.
five, six. About six. Since I was playing since 6 years old. First game I was introduced to, it was a first-person shooter. It was also known as CS
Wait, you
or
played
Counter-Strike.
CS? I thought it was Half-Life.
Uh, yeah.
Oh, CS? Okay,
No, it was
okay,
CS.
Okay.
The first game I played that
Okay.
was a first-person shooter was
Okay.
CS. I took it to other things. I like playing Nerf. I'm also a modder for Nerf as well. Newbie modder, starting modder right now. So please don't.
No, I think it's gonna be interesting, the learning process and learning process.
Yeah. Uh, also for the listeners and those who actually like to play Nerf or like to modify Nerfs. Big shout out to other modders such as Make Test Battle or Psych, fellow dancer as well. He does mods in Singapore. Got other people like Gavin Fuzzy, Newbie. Those two are big shout outs to both of them as well.
We are two brothers in Singapore, and this goes out to the podcasting scene in Singapore. We're not really big guys here. We're doing this to see whether we enjoy it, right? And I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. And I also hope through this podcast that I can reach people who do not know much about games. When I was young, I met people who did not appreciate games, and they thought it was just mindless entertainment, like how our parents would have gravitated towards TV. We gravitate towards games. So I hope to show to everyone who listens to this podcast that games are not just mindless entertainment, that they can be used for a lot of good, and they have been used for a lot of good. Come on, they even have an esports scene. They call it esports for a reason, you know? We'll take this time to talk a little bit more about what we would like to do with this podcast because there's a lot of things you could do with a gaming related podcast. For example, we could talk about game design related stuff. And if we come across news, we'd like to talk about it and share our viewpoints on what's happening out in the world regarding games. A lot of interesting applications for games, and maybe we'll talk about new games that come out, what they do, what do they motivate people to do, and well, Paul said Nerf gun warfare. Well, why not? Uh, maybe you want to talk a little bit more about Nerf guns, Paul. Like what?
Nerf. Well, actually, it's. Well, okay. I'm from Singapore Institute of Technology. Big shout out. Also, big shout out to my friend. He actually had the to go and create a club specifically for Nerf. So we could actually organize games. We actually had funding to go and buy some blasters. Also, I would like to stress that in Singapore, because of the gun laws, that
Oh, we're not America, all right.
try to tell people not to call them guns. Or, yeah, we are not going, guns, we need more guns. No, it's just we need more blasters, because if you just throw out the word guns, you might just get a knock on the door and the cops might just be banging it down. So in SIT, we actually have this Nerf club. We call ourselves Speed Square. We actually organize games. We actually organize like what you call mini wars, where we will actually have force on force battle where one side will take on the other. Different kinds of game mechanics that we employ. We try to employ capture the flag, control the point, standard team deathmatch, one life, no respawns. Or you could have one match which is shoot down objects. Can be a bottle, can be a slipper, whatever you choose. Unlimited respawns. The first team to shoot down each target would win. So we are open to other suggestions as well. Oh yes, any of the listeners would you like to share with us, please just drop us a comment. Just let us know so we can further improve what we're doing over here. So
That's right.
no ideas a bad idea.
I've been thinking a little bit about.
Game mechanics.
No. I think we should start with something else. I think we'll start with something light. We'll try and get the ball rolling. The way I envision it, and Paul and I we talked about this, that we want this podcast to take about half an hour, I guess. And we've already gone through like half our show notes, and we haven't even covered like 10 minutes worth of content. I really think we need to mix this up a little bit. Gosh.
I think we just need to extend the show notes. But then again, listeners, please just drop us what you want to hear. Just drop a comment just so we can know which direction to go through.
Goodness,
right
we
now.
gotta
So,
do better than this, man.
Yeah.
No one's born a podcaster. Okay. So just to get the ball rolling here, I think we will raise a subject, and maybe in future episodes, when we post this up and you guys get your first listen on it, we would like to hear if you guys would like us to talk about any topics or any questions that you'd have. But to get the ball rolling, I think we'll talk about whether you can make a shooter game on a smartphone. So I think that would be a good topic to start from, especially since everyone's got an Android, everyone's got an iPhone and all of that. And it's a rhetorical question. Of course, people have made shooter games on smartphones before, but the question is, what are difficulties, what are the challenges that we're talking about? Because let's look at it, for example. What do you think about Paul? What do you think about just kick up a point? Let's start off from there.
The first thing when you say is like, can we make a shooter game on a smartphone? Yeah, there are different shooter games. I've seen a couple. I've seen kids on the train just playing it, and I'm wondering how are they playing it? Because when you play on the computer, like the PC, you have all the reaction time in the world. You just look at it and you're like, you can react so fast. Whereas when you're playing it on the phone, I'm astounded how people actually can play it. But
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay, but what I mean is that moving about is like dragging their screen. Every time they have to turn, they have to drag the screen, and I find it.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when they drag their screen, I'm clueless. How do they endure it?
It kind of reminds me of like when you play console and you have to lean on the stick and your character will slowly turn to the left or the right. It's so annoying.
No, that's still okay. Like, you know that the thing is still moving. I've seen people play Halo, play Deus Ex. Deus Ex Machina, like, they have no issue in moving. At least they're still moving about, and they will have fluid movement. This one is just like drag, drop, and dragging and dropping. It's just. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, how do they tolerate it? I myself, I'm looking at it. I would have like quit that game within like what 2 minutes?
It's like I guess if you're talking about first-person shooter, I think well, there's no arguing lah. Computer is king, PC is king. You can't really change. You.
No. Some people will say otherwise. Though, so I won't go there.
Won't go
there.
All right.
I won't go there. But yeah. Hashtag PC Master Race.
And I just because it's the mouse, you get direct input, you see. You don't have to lean on a stick, come on. But I guess that's getting off the point. The question is, can you make a shooter game on a smartphone? Okay. Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, people actually have created some shooter games on the smartphone. It's just just who's playing it. It's catered more towards a specific target audience, and I think for some cases, people actually it's just a case of porting over. Cause like a lot of kids on their tablets, their smartphones, they like to play Minecraft, which is also another first-person. It's a first-person shooter. It's considered a shooter because you can actually craft your own bow and arrow. Not the one.
Okay.
You could consider it that way. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Nobody's gonna correct you here. Not until we get comments.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but well, you could consider it because there are a lot of YouTube celebs that actually like to play Minecraft or something like that. So like big shout outs to Freddie Wong, Node, Corridor Digital, those people. Oh my goodness, they're amazing. But when they played Minecraft, they actually had DLCs where they actually had to go like raid a dungeon or go hunting down a dragon. That's why I would still consider it a first-person shooter, but then again, other people would consider it otherwise like open world kind of thing. So, yeah. And okay, just to address the shooter game. Okay, I'm going to throw another point over here. Actually, more like it. what makes a shooter game a good
Uh-huh.
game? What makes a game a good game? What are the qualities behind it? Because I know it's a very controversial question, or it's a very subjective question, very relative to a lot of people, because a lot of things take into account, like you see AAA games or you see indie games. What makes the indie game stand a chance against those AAA games? But what makes the indie game also good, rather than playing a AAA game that's been rushed and everybody says it's bad?
I think that's actually a pretty good question. Because you see, AAA games, they have a lot of polish, they have a lot of manpower and resources, but indie games don't have that. So their best bet, most indie games, is to make a game that pushes their core enjoyment, the core experience as hard as possible. And the core experience could be I build a ship and I blow stuff up with it, and it becomes progressively harder, but with my creativity and my scrapping together a lot of stuff, I become awesome that way. And that is a core experience and that works fine. So the question that we've come to here is, what about the case of a shooter? I would say it's the blow by blow experience of it. I would say it's more like the raising of the gun, or the thrill of the hunt, maybe because we all play CS:GO, and it's realizing that there's someone behind the corner, you're waiting for him to come out, and then when he comes out, boom, headshot. The feeling's awesome. I think the smartphone also has a bunch of interesting problems. Okay, let's put it this way: you're willing to shell out what, $15? You play CS:GO. How much are you gonna pay? $15? $20? $30? Yeah,
15.
it costs $15, right?
Currently right now, yeah, it's cost $15. But the summer sale now, so yay.
And the way I see it is, okay, not just the way I see it. You just have to go to the App Store and see for yourself. Everything free. All the apps are free, and the pay model is interesting. You see, you have a lot of ads. You have a lot of in-app purchases. How do you think that's going to change the shooter game experience?
When I play other games such as not necessarily shooters, but like other games like Summoner's War, Dot Arena, is like just because they want to get ahead of the competition. It's a very competitive
Mm-hmm.
system. The moment you add in-app purchases, it's like adding things to get ahead of the competition when you
Yeah.
are starting off as a beginner. Some people, because they don't have the money, they will actually start grinding from the bottom up, like most people like me. Everybody grinds from the bottom up. So what does the in-app purchase actually supposed to do? Is it supposed to make your life easier, or is it just supposed to give you stuff, or is it supposed to does it affect your gameplay at all in the first place? Like other games like Summoner's War, I'm just going to use Summoner's War as an example because I'm also still playing it. Even though you actually go buy crystals being the premium currency, you can't necessarily do much. You can probably get more EXP for your monsters. You can probably get more crafting material. Then you also can start buying like scrolls to get better monsters. Even the getting the better monsters is actually subjected to what we call RNGesus.
Yeah, that's right. RNGesus, man.
Even though the RNG, the random number generator, if it doesn't agree with you, you can't. No matter what you try to do, you still can't get past it, and you
No,
will
but
have wasted
what about
all
but
that money
shooters
for nothing.
don't work that way. You have to point your gun at the guy. What kind of RNG is gonna mess up with that?
Yeah. Then there's the spread factor, and then there is those kind of games where if you buy. Okay, I bring to you another shooter example. What was that game? Combat Arms.
Combat up. Oh, right. Yeah.
Combat Arms. It was actually a game that I saw at my local LAN shop. Back
Uh-huh.
back when I was still in secondary school, back in my teens. It sounds so long ago, but
It is a long time ago.
I was quite fond of it because even though you didn't buy any weapons, you could still excel in it. But the thing is, for those people that actually bought into the game,
Yeah, you gotta spend
yeah,
money to
you
buy
gotta
the
spend
guns,
money
right?
to buy the guns, and they're actually very, very, very imbalanced. Those people that never bought anything, they will have a very difficult time. But it's still playable, and I like the challenge behind it. For other people, they just rage quit. I've seen so many players rage quit just because the other player has been sniping them using this very, very powerful sniper rifle, and all you have is a like some BB gun compared to him.
You have an M4,
You get an
right?
F4, you got a G36, you have the op. But that being said, the op like sometimes not.
It's a hit miss thing, leh.
Whereas the other guy, he has the stopping power no matter what. So it almost seems like wall hacking.
The strange thing is that Combat Arms is, even though it's free to play, right? It's on PC and it's got all the underpinnings of what you expect in a phone game, a mobile game. Actually, that's pretty interesting in itself, yeah? I don't know. The way I see it, it sort of worked.
Yeah,
It
it
worked for
did.
quite a
It
while.
did. I seen the more Southeast Asian thing, which is Blackshot.
Oh, yeah, Blackshot, Blackshot.
That was more Southeast Asian thing. Combat Arms was a North American thing. Then they created servers in Asia. Then they created a global server. Before Blackshot, there was Combat Arms. Then
Yeah.
slowly people started to flock towards Blackshot. Combat Arms, because they had a lot of issues regarding their servers, and that I think that made a lot of people like just not play and just went to Blackshot. But I heard they did some patching with their servers and they actually got it back up again. But I think the damage was dealt. So
Yeah. Everybody just left, yeah.
I don't blame them. It's understandable because when you have server issues, when you keep trying to join back and back and back and you just can't, then you keep dropping in the middle of, like, let's say you're leading 20-0 and you're having the best game ever, and then suddenly the server hangs and and the whole game crashes, and then you don't get anything, and you'll be like, oh my gosh. So
Yeah, mad frustrating.
a lot of factors into it.
Do you think graphics would be a problem for shooter games on the smartphone?
Okay, this is why I say I'm PC master race, because a lot of my shooter games are all on the PC.
Yeah.
Okay, I should stop going back to the PC. Okay, smartphone.
Yes,
Okay.
smartphone.
Wow, what makes a good game on a smartphone? Okay, when I look at, it's more trying to juggle expectations, because on the smartphone there are a lot of shooter games, and but some of them are third person, some of them are first person, and some of them are top down shooters.
That's okay.
Some of them are from I can't even remember. Remember the game Aliens?
Aliens. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Aliens.
Yeah,
Aliens, the
yeah,
one on
yeah.
PC, right?
That
Oh yeah, enjoyed
Yeah,
that one. I really enjoyed that one.
that alien shooter game that was so old, but at the same time, some games on the smartphones are actually using that kind of perspective. It's like some open map perspective, and it's actually quite good, because that one doesn't require you to start dragging your screen left and right. It actually gives you two joysticks on your screen itself.
Oh yeah, that's right. Isn't that? Oh yes. Now you reminded me. Twin stick shooters. You remember Minigore?
Yes.
Minigore.
Yes,
Awesome.
another shooter. Okay,
Hey.
but those games are actually, like, they juggle expectation, they juggle motivation, they juggle challenge. So those kind of games are quite nice. Like, oh, yeah, it just reminded me of another game, Solomon's Boneyard.
Oh yeah, Solomon's Boneyard. How's it?
Yeah, it's
Is
still
it
around,
still around?
but I lost my motivation in playing that game, because it didn't the challenge the moment you get frost. The moment you get frost and magic missiles, it's more of playing RNG after that. Because if once you get your skill ups, it's more seeing what because you only have three options without the extra skill option. You only get three options to what you can power up. And then if you get more skill ups, and after that you got more skills to consider. But at the same time, because you got more skill to consider, you also need to consider which skill do you use the most. Sometimes they give you the skills that you don't need and you have to power it up for nothing.
Yeah, for
absolutely nothing. And you'll be crying your heart out, because at the same time you're like, oh, I want to get past this part, and after a while it just becomes like pointless droning and just keeps going on and on and on. I feel like I'm every time I play that game.
Sounds like a design problem there, part lah. But did you enjoy it or not? The twin stick concept.
Oh no, the controls for the twin stick concept for the controls were they amazing. They were actually they made playing shooters on the phone more exciting.
Twin stick shooters. Well, think about it. Game session length. Do you think there was an issue?
Depending on what kind of game you're looking at, actually, it's whether you're playing survival or you're playing objectives. If you play survival, then your game length is based on your difficulty, what you set it. Or if you're playing based on objective, then it's just based on difficulty.
But okay, you just mentioned survival, and a lot of these twin stick shooters, like, they center around survival. Yeah. That one of the things I find is that when you play a survival game, and you find yourself more motivated to survive the longer you play, right? I mean, let's say you've survived 15 minutes, okay? You haven't survived this long before. Your record was like 12 or 13, and now the next wave is coming, and you just gotta survive and keep going and going and going. And oh look, your taxi ride is done, and you have to get off the cab, and you gotta go to work. But no, you gotta finish this game 1 hour later.
Yeah, then
Can you imagine that? I can maybe not an hour later, but I can totally imagine something like that happening.
Oh, it has happened. It has happened. I can attest to that. I can
What?
attest to that. It wasn't a shooter. It was playing Burnout, and I wasn't. Yeah,
Burnout.
I wasn't. I
Oh,
wasn't playing it on my
oh,
phone though. I was playing it on my PSP. We are taking the bus ride up to Penang.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that.
okay. Did your PSP burn out?
Oh my goodness. No, no, no. Hell no, no. No, it's more when in the morning when I woke up. Then after I was like thinking, okay, like I'm tired as it is, but I want to stay awake. So then I like, okay, I'll play a bit, play. Then the next thing I know, oh, it's time to get off. And I'm like, no.
I don't believe this.
But that being said, yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much covers our points. I think we should we should prepare more show notes next time.
You don't say.
Okay, so
No, but then that being said, it's actually because games alone, it's a very
yeah.
diverse topic. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody's a critic.
Mhm.
Everybody has to be a critic because you're playing the game.
Uh-huh.
And on top of that is when you talk about smartphone and games alone already, there's like 1,000,001 games. There is what I can name you 5 games off the top of my head. Summoner's War, Dot Arena, Flappy Bird, Angry Birds.
Yeah, the list goes on and on, man. List goes
Yeah,
on.
Pokemon Go. You got what was that one again? Oh crap. Where's my water? You remember that one?
Where's my? Oh, that one. Yes,
The
yes,
crocodile, the crocodile one.
yes. That irritating. Yeah.
And then you
Okay,
got Cut
okay.
the Rope.
Oh, cut the rope was fun.
Yeah,
Cut the
you
rope was
got you
cute.
got these kind of different kinds of games that give you different challenges. So it's to say what makes a good game on a smartphone a good game is actually very very controversial because everything is it's all different. So what makes a game a good game? I think that's more an appropriate point.
True,
If
true, true.
if it doesn't like stick to shooters alone, shooters there's a 1,001 shooters. It's just majority of my knowledge comes from PC. So on the smartphone, I'm lost. I'm a blind bat. But at the same time, that I do play a bit of shooters once in a while on my phone or other people's phone.
You saw Minigo. Minigo's a shooter.
Yeah, I just remember one actually when I was playing still back in my unit. We actually played this game called Sniper. It's actually about a guy. You are a sniper. No duh.
Uh-huh.
You're on a roof and you're supposed to take out targets. They'll tell you your target,
Mhm.
and you're supposed to take out your target.
Okay.
Now, how they increase the challenge is that when they actually give you elevation, they give you drop. They give you bullet drop and they give you wind.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, okay, that one will be interesting.
So the wind goes in a particular direction and gives you bullet drop. So you have to account for the bullet drop and you have to account for wind. Now, at the beginning when you play the game, there is none of that. So you just have to hit the center of the crosshairs.
Ah,
So once you start to engage more in the game, they will actually give you higher difficulty, which is bullet drop, where you actually have to aim higher than the actual target. Then
Yeah.
after that, the next level would be wind, where you actually have to account for wind from side to side. They don't account for like real life perspectives where you have to account for this kind of distance, you have to account for wind at that place, right, and the where you are right now, and you have to account for light and all the whatnot. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things that they never accounted for snipers, but that being said, that game alone, it was actually kind of realistic. I actually kind of enjoyed myself. It's just very tedious to play. You have to have so much concentration, and then again, you're at work.
That's right. Do you think that would make sense in a smartphone game?
What, having that much concentration?
Yeah.
I mean different situations. One is by right I shouldn't be playing games at work.
uh,
By left I let you all decide.
okay. I think we've talked quite a lot already. It should be time to close this episode. Do you think we should have a closer?
I'm just like whatever comes to
We
me.
are the Headshot Brothers. And we have no closer.
If you guys got any comments, just leave it down below. This is going on YouTube, right?
Oh, do you want it to go on YouTube? It could go on YouTube. I'm thinking.
Just go ahead.
Well, it's definitely going out on Reddit
Oh,
and
that's nice.
YouTube. Oh, why not? Might as well put it on YouTube.
Those people that are on YouTube and you actually think there is something we can talk about or something you want to hear us talk about, please leave it down in the comment section below.
Where?
Yeah.
What comment section?
What?
Comment
What?
section.
Reddit has comments as well.
Fair enough.
YouTube also has comments as well.
Fair enough. You're right. Fine.
Yeah, so also for those people on Reddit, if you actually have something you want us to talk about, please just make a thread so that people can just talk about it, or just create your own thread.
Yeah. Okay.
So then at least we know what we should be talking about. Because yes, one, we are new. Two is the show notes that we have aren't very extensive. They are just
Fine.
pretty-
I'll make better show notes next time. I'll make better.
No, they're generic. It's just more like we were supposed to talk about game mechanics. We're supposed to talk about nerf. We're supposed to talk about shooters. That being said, shooters is very diverse alone, really. So we have other games. We have other games such as real-time strategy. We still have side scrollers. We have.
We've got a long way ahead of us. I think we should keep this for other episodes, don't you think? Goodbye, everyone.
Alright.
Yeah. So okay. So wow, this is so awkward, man. This is the first time we're doing this kind of thing.